What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another sniping tips video. We're gonna have to start calling this like scope sniper secrets or something, because we've been giving away some gems. This is episode number 2 in the Black Ops 6 universe. We had to run another one of these up because y'all showed so much love on the first one, and because a lot of stuff has changed with sniping and with Black Ops 6 in general since that video was published. Today we're gonna be giving away the best settings, tips, and secrets to becoming a better sniper on Black Ops 6. Make sure you guys drop a like on this video and subscribe if you're new, if you want to see more sniping guides and videos like this, because after sniping for more than 15 years, I've managed to pick up a few pointers. I'm also streaming every single day over at Twitch, and I get asked these sniping questions all the time over there. So if you guys ever have any questions, I'd be happy to help and answer them live. Plus, the amount of little things and tips you can pick up just by watching someone who's a veteran play live is pretty insane. First off, let's quickly get you up to speed on everything that's changed with snipers since our last tips video. The first thing they fixed, which is arguably the biggest and most important thing they've done to snipers, is fix the uncentered scopes. When you aim in, your scope and reticle are now exactly where that center dot is for that first initial second and a half, which is super important for quick scoping. Secondly, they adjusted the vertical recoil on all snipers so they feel a little bit easier to handle. And lastly, those ugly animations have now been solved with the new perk Slipstream, and I'm going to get into that later on in the video because that deserves a tier of its own. So let's get right into it, man. The first one, I'm just going to drop a bomb right away. This is one of the most important tips for quick scoping, especially on Black Ops 6. I used to do this all the time back in the OG Modern Warfare 2 COD 4 days, which is the center dot. Now, to some viewers, you may hear that and think I'm talking about the center dot setting on BO6, which I am, but in this Call of Duty, for the first time ever, the center dot and crosshair disappears when you are aiming in with a sniper, which is pretty annoying because it's just another way to slightly nerf snipers because of how important the dot and crosshair is for landing shots when quickscoping. I went over centering in my sniping tips video number 1, but to summarize, it's putting the enemy in the center of your crosshair before scoping in. It's the most efficient way to quickscope. This is why in Black Ops 6, I heavily vouch for a monitor crosshair because it stays in the center of your screen at all times. It never goes away. And for those of you watching who don't have a monitor and just have like a regular TV, don't worry, we have a solution for you as well. Monitor crosshairs are a fairly common thing for first-person shooters, but it helps specifically for quickscoping. Now, if you're lucky, your monitor may have a setting where you can turn one of these bad boys on, and they will all be fairly different. Every specific monitor will have a different preset of default crosshairs to choose from, so you can pick which one you like the most for you. It may not sound like a big deal, but I promise you, it's a top 3 tip I have for this entire game. That center dot does wonders. If you look at some clips, you can literally see it in my shot, where it helps guide me from one person to the other. For centering, it's top notch. And look, this may be a little bit crazy, but I promise to give you guys the best tips and everything that helped me growing up sniping. So if this is a little insane, I'm sorry, but it works. Take a piece of clear tape and a marker and place a small piece of that tape on the center of your monitor where your crosshair and center dot would normally be. And then you take that marker and draw a dot directly in the center. You can like hold a Semtex or have the center dot on just so you know exactly where that dot is, so you can draw on top of it. It looks a little bit crazy, but it does the job. I used to do this all the time back in COD 4 and specifically in World War II when I was literally learning how to center. The second tip is to use a program on Steam called Crosshair X. Now, this is a little annoying because it does cost money. It costs about $9, but it also will show up in your recording. So if you use OBS or if you use any sort of software that records your gameplay, you will see that specific Crosshair X dot in your clips. Some of you may not think that's a big deal. Some of you may think it's a big deal. It's up to you. This is what my monitor crosshair looks like. It's just a green little crosshair that stays in the center of my screen that is absolutely perfect. It's not distracting, but it helps out tremendously. And all the monitor crosshairs do not show up in your recordings. This right here is going to improve your sniping game times 5. This next tip we're going to get into is like a 2 combined into 1. Get 2 birds stoned at once or whatever.
Get 2 birds stoned at once.
It's one of the most underrated tips for sniping, hands down, which is standing still when ADSing and counter strafing in between your shots. That kind of slips a lot of people's minds because they're so focused on the act of quickscoping that they don't realize how they look to an enemy. Now, the most efficient way to counter strafe when you're quickscoping is doing it in between your shots. So whether you have a bolt action rifle or a semi-automatic, right after you shoot is the prime time to counter strafe. The best trick that I've learned, and this was a thing back in OG Modern Warfare 3, is when you're cocking your gun back or right after you shoot, if you're using a semi-automatic, you're strafing left and right or sprinting forward. I'm going to put an example on the screen right now of how I look when someone is trying to kill me. You can see that in between my shots, I'm all over the place. I'm trying to be as hard to hit as possible. So if we break it down, it basically goes like this. When you're aiming in and you're about to quickscope somebody, your feet should be planted and standing still. And whether or not you hit that person after that shot is fired, that's when you begin the counter strafe. So when you combine these two together, planting your feet while aiming in and counter strafing in between your shots, it creates this perfect rhythm where you can be accurate but also a pain in the ass to kill. And you already know when you're a pain in the ass to kill, that just means you're going to stay alive longer, which means you're going to hit more bangers. Next up, since I hit you guys with 3 physical sniping tips, we're going to switch it up and let you guys in on the best game modes to play for sniping and hitting clips, and what kill streaks are going to help you hit those clips, not just force people to leave the game. The best game mode of all time, in my opinion, for having fun and sniping and hitting clips is ground war. And no, I'm not talking about the Boomer Battlefield 24v24, which is a fun game mode, by the way. It's just not really good for clips, so don't yell at me. I'm talking about the OG higher player count on the regular 6v6 maps, that 9v9, the 12v12 mosh pit, or in Black Ops 6, the 10v10 mosh pit. Unfortunately, we have to fight for this staple game mode to even pop up in the newer CODs. The reason I say staple is because it was a game mode that was available at launch in all of the golden Call of Duties that somehow started disappearing towards the later titles. 10v10 mosh pit on Black Ops 6 is hands down the best way to practice sniping and get better. The reason why I recommend this game mode is because it allows you to get the most reps possible in an organic way. And when I say organic, I just mean short, medium, and long range battles. Because if you play a game mode like Face Off, it's just kind of barrel stuff brain rot. The maps are so small that you're not going to get any medium to long range shots, which isn't going to help your sniping in the long run. But hey, these game modes are pretty fun too. You can play them every now and then. 10v10 mosh pit also meets that sweet spot where it's more people equals more opportunities for clips and lineups. It's not too big where you'll play 30v30 and it feels like Battlefield, because those game modes are actually harder to hit clips in because of how big the maps are and how spread out the enemies are. When I would play those 30v30 game modes, I would actually get less kills than I would in 10v10, because every single map in 30v30 is just like a remake of Stonehaven, for Christ's sake. If you feel like 10v10 is a little bit overwhelming for you, you can go into 6v6 domination, and that would work as well. The next tip we're going to land on is kill streaks and perks. Now, both of these may not seem important for quickscoping, but it can help enhance your playstyle and make you a better player. For me, I choose kill streaks that are going to help me hit the clip, not kill everyone for me and ruin the clip opportunity. Now, obviously, you can use whatever the John you want, but all I'm saying is the amount of clips that I've hit because of this bad boy right here is insane. I mean, come on, the orbital VSAT is the best kill streak in Call of Duty history. And on Black Ops 6, if you also combine the UAV kill streak with the forward intel perk, you pretty much have a permanent VSAT all game as long as you're getting those UAVs. The hand cannon is great too because it almost feels like you're hitting a clip if you pop off with it. My kill streaks that I use are UAV, hand cannon, and VSAT. They are perfect for sniping. And when it comes to perks, I'm rocking Flak Jacket, Forward Intel, and Slipstream. Slipstream is going to be a staple as well as Flak Jacket because playing Call of Duty without Flak Jacket and Tac Mask, if we're being honest, is kind of ass. Now, this actually needs a tier of its own because the new Slipstream perk is the best thing that's been added to Black Ops 6 since fucking sliced bread. I mean, it's incredible. It was also available in Modern Warfare 3 last year. It was called All Terrain Boots. And without going into a deep tangent and going off on a rant, why are we getting default sprint in a perk? I mean, that's kind of weird. If you want to use tactical sprint, that should be a perk. Check out how it looks when I'm sniping with Slipstream compared to when I'm not using it. That tactical sprint animation is just so clunky. It's all over the place. It looks ugly. Compared to Slipstream, when it's always ready to shoot, always at the hip, the animation looks 10 times better. With all these perks equipped, and especially Slipstream, you're going to find yourself having a much better time sniping on Black Ops 6. And to finish off the video, I'm going to close every single sniping tips video with the same thing that I tell everybody every day, especially on stream. The best way to become a better sniper is by hitting private match and loading up those bots. Put as many bots on as you're comfortable with. Please put them on recruit. You're trying to practice your shot. You're not trying to outplay movement demons in private match. Put on a podcast, put on some music, put on a stream, anything you want in the background, and just zone out and focus on your shot. I used to shoot 1,000 bots a day. I still do sometimes. Putting in that work and getting more comfortable with your shot and with all the snipers is going to do wonders for your playstyle. If you guys enjoyed and if you made it to the end of the video, make sure to drop a like and comment down below if any of these sniping tips were useful to you or if I missed any. So subscribe if you're new so you can never miss a tip video. I update you on all sniper buffs, nerfs, everything in the future. Hope to see you guys in the stream. If not, I'll see you in the next upload. Deuces.
How in the fuck are you about to say? The way that we do it, it's not the way. No, don't you sweat it, you not in the way. Nothing you do.